The great halls of the Galactic Council were quiet, too quiet. Hundreds of alien leaders sat around a glowing circular table, their eyes fixed on the large hologram in the center. The hologram showed a blue planet spinning slowly in space. A soft voice finally broke the silence. "They refuse war again," said Counselor Tereth, his long silver fingers tapping nervously. "Humans do not want to fight." Some leaders nodded. Some shook their heads. But no one looked relaxed. A large reptilian commander leaned forward, his deep voice trembling in frustration. "Then why does every record say they are the most dangerous warriors we have ever seen?" No one answered. Every alien in that room knew the truth, even if they didn't say it out loud. Humans were peaceful. But humans were also terrifying. It made no sense. It created fear. And fear created danger. At the edge of the room, a small researcher named Varric watched quietly. He was from the gentle Kaltori species, known for curiosity and truth-seeking. Varric held a data pad in his shaking hands. He had studied humans for 3 years. He had read their history, their culture, their ancient conflicts. And he had seen something the other council members refused to admit. Humans did not love war. They survived war. And that made them strong. Counselor Tereth turned toward Varric. "You are the only one who spent time learning about them. Tell us, what did you find?" Varric stepped forward slowly. His voice was gentle but clear. "Humans avoid war," he said. "But when someone forces them, they fight with their minds, their hearts, and their full will. That is what makes them strong." A few leaders shifted uncomfortably. Varric continued. "They are not born warriors. They become warriors only when pushed." He paused, then added quietly, "And when they become warriors, no one can stop them." A wave of whispers filled the hall. The reptilian commander slammed his fist on the table. "This is exactly the problem. A peaceful species that becomes the strongest army when angered? Dangerous. Unstable." Another alien, wearing a metallic crown, grumbled. "They should be controlled before they become a threat." Varric felt his stomach twist. He had feared this day would come. The council was not meeting to understand humans. They were meeting to decide what to do about humans. Counselor Tereth raised his voice. "Enough. We must know the truth before we act." His glowing eyes turned to Varric. "You will go to the human home system. You will observe them closely. And you will return with a full report." Varric's heart pounded. "But, Counselor, humans do not trust alien ships near their planet." "They don't need to trust you," the reptilian commander growled. "You just need to watch them." Varric didn't like this. He respected humans. He admired their strange mix of kindness and strength. But if the council was planning something dangerous, Varric needed the truth, even if it scared him. He bowed slightly. "I will go." The meeting ended. The leaders left. But the dark mood remained in the room like thick smoke. Varric walked quickly to the docking bay, where his small research ship waited. His mind raced with worry. Why is the council afraid? Why now? What are they planning for humans? He climbed into his ship and activated the controls. The engines hummed to life, and the ship rose slowly from the ground. Moments later, Varric left the council world and jumped to faster-than-light travel. His destination, Earth's orbit. Hours later, approaching Earth, Varric's ship exited FTL. The bright blue planet filled his screen. Beautiful, peaceful, alive. He stared at it with quiet awe. "Humans, what are you really hiding?" he whispered. Suddenly his ship beeped loudly. A strange energy signal appeared near Earth. It was powerful and unstable. Varric's eyes widened. This is human data?" he whispered. The signal wasn't a call for help. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't even a message. It was something else. A flood of human history. Wars. Battles. Conflicts. Strategies. Varric's body went cold. He had never seen so much human war knowledge compressed in one signal. It wasn't random. Someone had gathered this data on purpose. Then shockingly the signal changed. Someone was trying to hack the information. Someone was trying to steal human war strategies. "Who is doing this?" Varric whispered. "Humans? No, this looks like..." His screen flashed red. Unknown source detected. Accessing human war archives. Varric's breath stopped. Someone is trying to unlock human war secrets. And if they succeeded, the galaxy would be in danger. Varric quickly activated his scanners to trace the source. When he saw the result, he felt pure fear. It was coming from a powerful alien empire, one that hated humans. The Xeran Dominion. "No," Varric whispered. "If they get this data, they can force humans into war. A second signal suddenly burst across his screen, coming from Earth itself. A quiet human voice spoke through the static. "We do not want war, but we will protect our home." Varric leaned forward, stunned. The humans knew. They knew someone was trying to steal their war knowledge. And they were preparing for something. Something big. Varric felt a cold wave run through his body as the human signal continued. The voice coming from Earth was calm, steady, almost gentle. But behind that calmness was something powerful. "We do not want war," the human voice repeated, "but we will protect our home." Varric stared at the screen. Humans were aware of the situation. They knew someone was trying to steal their war archives. And they were already preparing for danger. For a species that hated war, they reacted very fast. Varric's ship shook suddenly as another signal hit his sensors. This one dark, sharp, and full of aggression. Xeran Dominion transmission detected. The Xeran Dominion was known throughout the galaxy as brutal conquerors. Their ships were large, armored, and always hungry for battle. Varric watched in fear as a Xeran command ship uncloaked near Earth's orbit. "This is bad, very bad," he whispered. The Xeran Dominion commander spoke first, his growling voice filling every channel in the system. "Humans, transfer your war archive data now. Do not resist." Varric froze. They weren't even hiding it. They were openly threatening Earth. Human channels went silent. The galaxy held its breath. Then another calm human voice answered, not fearful, not angry, just steady. "You have no permission to access our history. Leave our orbit immediately." Varric's mouth fell open. The Xeran commander hissed loudly. "You refuse? Then we will take it by force." Varric's small ship trembled as dozens of Xeran fighters appeared like a swarm of metal insects. Their engines glowed red with heat. Earth was surrounded. Varric felt helpless. His ship was too small to fight. He was only a researcher. All he could do was watch and pray no battle started. Why are humans so calm? Do they have a secret fleet? Are they hiding a superweapon? As Varric watched, something unexpected happened on Earth's surface. Lights. Millions of them. Not explosions, but signals. Patterns of human communication. Cities linking, satellites activating, networks forming like glowing threads. Humans were talking. Humans were organizing. Humans were preparing. And they did it without panic. Varric felt a chill. The galaxy always assumed humans were emotional, chaotic creatures. But what he was seeing now was discipline. Slowly, quietly, the human voice spoke again. "We do not want war. But we will not let you harm our world." The Xeran commander laughed. A harsh, cruel sound. "You think you can fight us?" For a moment nothing happened. Then lights appeared behind the moon. Varric gasped. Small ships, dozens of them, rose from the dark side of the moon. They were not large battleships. They were not heavy war cruisers. They were human defensive craft. Simple, compact, but fast. Humans had never told the galaxy they placed ships behind their moon. It was a silent defense system, used only as a last resort. The Xeran commander narrowed his eyes. "Pathetic. Those tiny ships cannot stop us." But Varric noticed something. The human ships did not attack. They did not move aggressively. They simply formed a protective circle around Earth, calm, steady, unbroken. A warning. A line drawn. Varric whispered, "They don't want to fight, but they will." The Xeran ships surged forward. Before the battle began, a young human officer broadcast a message across every channel. She spoke softly, without fear. "You want our war history? Fine. Here is our real secret." Varric held his breath. The human officer continued, her voice stronger now. "We survived every war not because we love fighting, but because we protect each other. Hurt one human, 10 billion will rise." She paused. "That is our strength." For the first time, the Xeran commander looked uncertain. Varric could feel it too. This was not a threat. Not rage. Not aggression. It was a warning built from unity. The Xeran commander snarled, frustrated. "Empty words." He raised his clawed hand, ready to command the attack. But before he could speak, something massive entered the system. A shadow darkened the stars as a giant ship warped into orbit. It wasn't human. It wasn't Xeran. Varric's heart dropped when he recognized it. The Galactic Council flagship. But why were they here? The massive council ship moved between Earth and the Xeran fleet, blocking the attack path. A booming voice echoed from the flagship. "This conflict ends now. No species will threaten the humans." Varric froze. Even the Xeran commander looked stunned. The council had never defended a young species before. They usually stayed neutral. But today, They chose to protect Earth. Varric understood why. Humans were rare. Humans were strange. Humans were unpredictable. But they were also honest, kind, brave. And if someone forced them into war, the entire galaxy would burn. The Council could not allow that. The Xeran ships hesitated. Their commander growled in frustration. You protect these weak creatures? The Council voice thundered back. They are weak only because they choose peace. Do not make them choose war. The meaning was clear. If the Xeran Dominion pushed humans too far, they would awaken something unstoppable. The Xeran commander snarled, but he knew he was outnumbered. With a final hiss, he ordered his fleet to retreat. One by one, the Xeran ships vanished into deep space. The danger was gone. Earth was safe. For now. Varric leaned back, trembling with relief. But a new fear grew in his mind. If this is how humans react when threatened, what happens when they decide to fight for real? The Xeran fleet was gone, but the cold fear inside Varric did not leave. Earth was still quiet. Too quiet. No cheers. No celebration. No anger. Just silence and focus. Varric knew this kind of silence. It was the silence of a species preparing for something bigger. He watched as human satellites shifted into new positions around the planet. They moved like chess pieces taking defensive shapes. Ground stations connected, forming larger energy grids. Even civilian networks seemed to join the effort. Humans were preparing for the next threat. Not because they wanted war, but because they expected it. Varric took a deep breath and activated his ship's recording device. He needed to send all this information to the Galactic Council. Someone had to understand how dangerous the situation was. Humans will not attack first, he whispered, but if someone pushes them, they will transform. He remembered old rumors. Stories told by alien travelers. Legends of human determination. The stories said humans did not win wars through stronger weapons or bigger armies. They won because they refused to stop fighting. They would crawl, bleed, and rise again. Even the Council feared that potential. Varric checked the star charts. The Xeran Dominion would not give up so easily. They were insulted, humiliated, and angry. They would return. And next time they would bring more ships. Varric's ship suddenly pinged a new alert. Unauthorized transmission detected. Origin Earth. He widened his eyes. Humans were sending a message, but not to the Xeran, and not to him. They were broadcasting a hidden signal to deep space, toward regions the Council rarely monitored. What? Varric boosted the signal and listened. What he heard startled him. It was not a call for help. Not a threat. Not a warning. It was a statement. This is Earth. We stand ready. Varric froze. Ready for what? He ran another scan and his fear grew. Humans were activating old bunkers. Reconnecting ancient archives. Waking systems that hadn't been used for decades. The war records. They were preparing to open them. The very thing the Xeran wanted. Varric swallowed hard. Maybe the Xeran wanted them for power. Maybe humans wanted them for survival. But either way, the galaxy was in danger. He turned his ship toward the Council flagship. He needed answers. The Council guards allowed him inside after a long inspection. He walked through the giant ship's corridors until he reached the central chamber. Counselor Relia, a tall, crystal-skinned being, stood near a giant hollow display of Earth. You witnessed everything, she said softly. Varric nodded. I did, but I don't understand. Why protect the humans so strongly? Counselor Relia's eyes glowed. Because humans fight only when they have no other choice. When they do fight, their strength is unmatched. Varric shook his head. But how? Their ships are small. Their technology is young. Relia sighed. Technology is not the reason. She pressed a command on the console. The hollow display changed. It now showed images of human history, old battles, ancient wars, desperate fights for survival. Varric watched humans defend their world over centuries. Their cities burned, but they rebuilt. Their armies fell, but new forces rose. Their people suffered, but they never surrendered. Counselor Relia spoke slowly. Every species in the galaxy evolved in stable conditions. But humans evolved in chaos, storms, predators, disasters. They are shaped by struggle. Even when they do not want to fight, they excel at it. Varric felt a cold shiver. They are reluctant warriors. Counselor Relia nodded. And that makes them the most dangerous kind. Before Varric could respond, another alarm echoed through the Council ship. Xeran fleet detected. Large numbers approaching at high speed. Varric's heart pounded. They're coming back already? Relia's voice was tense. Yes. And this time, they brought a war armada. Varric rushed to the nearest window. Several star lanes flashed with light as Xeran ships exited warp. Massive cruisers, heavy carriers, and weapon platforms. It was an invasion force. The Council fleet immediately began forming defensive formations, but even Varric could see the truth. They were outnumbered. There were too many Xeran ships. Varric whispered, "This is bad, very bad." Then another alert appeared. Incoming transmission from Earth. The human voice returned. "Come. Steady. We asked for peace. We hoped for peace. But if war is all you understand, then we will answer." The Earth transmission stopped. Lights flickered around the moon again. Varric leaned forward, eyes wide. Something huge was emerging from the moon's shadow. Something humans had kept hidden for a long time. A massive hangar door opened on the lunar surface. Counselor Relia gasped. "No, that cannot be." A shape began to rise, slowly, silently. It was enormous, dark, heavily armored. A human warship. A type never recorded before. A class so large it rivaled the Council's own flagship. Varric felt his chest tighten. Humans built that, while pretending they had no fleet? Counselor Relia whispered. They only build weapons when forced. And now, they have been forced. The new human ship activated its engines. Blue fire roared from the back. Energy lines glowed bright white across its hull. The name on the side flickered into view. HSS Resolve. Varric's breath caught in his throat. For the first time he understood. Humans refused war. But when war came to their door, they became something unstoppable. The Xeran armada filled the dark sky like a swarm of metal beasts. Their engines glowed red, their weapons already charged. Every ship in their fleet moved with one goal. Destroy Earth. Take the human war archives. Show the galaxy their power. But they had not expected to see this. Varric stared at the giant human warship rising from the moon, slowly, silently, like a sleeping beast waking from a long rest. The HSS Resolve was unlike anything he had ever seen. Its hull was thick and black, covered in heavy armor plates. Sharp metal lines created a pattern that looked almost alive, pulsing with blue energy. The front of the ship held a massive weapon chamber, closed for now but clearly dangerous. Varric whispered, "Humans built this in secret, for years." Counselor Relia nodded. "They hoped they would never need it. That is why it is dangerous." The Xeran commander's voice broke through the comms, filled with furious disbelief. "What is that human ship? That size, that power? You hid this from the galaxy." A calm human officer replied from the HSS Resolve. "We hid nothing. You simply never looked behind the moon." The Xeran commander roared in anger. "You dare mock us?" The human officer did not raise his voice. "We asked for peace. You came back with war. Now we will defend our home." The Xeran commander hissed loudly. "Then your home will burn." His armada surged forward. Dozens of Xeran fighters sped toward the HSS Resolve like metal arrows. Their lasers lit the darkness with sharp red streaks. Varric braced himself for impact. But something strange happened. The Resolve did not fire its main weapon. It didn't release missiles. It didn't activate shields. Instead, the ship simply moved. Fast. Too fast for its size. Varric shouted. That's impossible. A ship that big cannot move like that." Counselor Relia shook her head slowly. "Humans break rules we thought were fixed. This is what makes them terrifying." The Resolve shifted sideways with unbelievable speed, almost gliding. The first wave of Xeran fire missed completely. Then the human ship flicked open 6 smaller weapon ports. Silent flashes of blue light shot out. The Xeran fighters exploded in the distance, one after another, clean, precise hits. Varric felt his stomach twist. The humans were not attacking with rage. They were not shooting wildly. They were calm, focused, and deadly. The more they tried to avoid war, the stronger they became at fighting. The Xeran commander growled. "Destroy that ship." Full force. Hundreds of Xeran weapons locked onto the Resolve. This time there was no escape. The second wave of fire hit the Resolve like a storm of red lightning. But instead of breaking, the Resolve absorbed the hits into its hull. Blue energy lines brightened. The ship seemed to grow stronger. Varric gasped. "They are absorbing the energy?" Counselor Relia's face went pale. "That technology does not exist. Humans should not have this." But they did. And they were using it well. The Resolve finally activated its main weapon chamber. 2 giant metal plates opened slowly, revealing a glowing blue core. It looked like a star caught inside a cage. The Xeran commander panicked for the first time. "What is that?" Humans do not have a weapon like this. A human voice answered him. We never wanted to build it. The core brightened. But you left us no choice. The beam fired. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was a single, silent, bright flash. A perfectly straight line of blue-white energy cut through space. The Xeran battleship in front of it simply vanished. No explosion. No debris. Just gone. The Xeran armada froze. For the first time in decades. They were afraid. Varric could barely breathe. Humans built a collapse beam, a dimensional shredder? How? How is this possible? Counselor Relia stared at the screen, her voice almost trembling. This weapon is banned in the galaxy. Only the oldest civilizations even knew it could exist. Varric whispered the truth both of them now understood. Humans invented it on their own. The Xeran commander stuttered. You monsters. But the human officer replied softly. No. We are peaceful. But if you bring war to our door, we will end it quickly. The Xeran armada began to retreat. But something unexpected happened. The resolve did not chase them. It did not fire again. It simply held position, silent, steady. A warning. Nothing more. The Xeran commander shouted in frustration. You let us leave. Why? The human officer answered calmly. We do not kill unless we must. Go. Do not return. Varric felt chills run across his skin. Humans didn't want victory. They didn't want destruction. They only wanted the fighting to stop. Counselor Relia whispered. This is why the galaxy fears them. Because even with such power, they choose restraint. Varric nodded slowly. They refuse war, but if war comes to them they become something unstoppable. The Xeran ships vanished one by one into warp. Silence returned. But it wasn't peaceful silence. It was the silence before the next danger. Counselor Relia turned to Varric. This is not over. The Xeran Dominion will not accept this defeat. They will return with even more force. Varric swallowed hard. And when they do, the humans will fight again. He looked back at Earth. And he wondered, what happens when humans finally decide they've had enough? The Xeran armada was gone, but the galaxy felt heavier than before. Varric sat inside the Council flagship, staring at the image of Earth on the hollow screen. Clouds moved across its surface slowly, peacefully, almost innocent. But Varric knew the truth. Inside that calm planet lived a species that could reshape the future of the galaxy, if they were pushed too far. Counselor Relia stood beside him, watching silently. Do you feel it? She asked. Varric nodded slowly. Yes, something has changed. Humans, they are awake now. Relia did not smile. This is exactly what the Xeran Dominion fears. A human civilization ready for war. Varric's hands shook slightly. Should we warn Earth? Should we tell them the Xeran will return? Relia shook her head. They already know. As if proving her words, another transmission came from Earth. The human officer from the HSS Resolve appeared again, calm, focused, and strangely gentle. To the Galactic Council. We thank you for your support. But we request one thing. Relia leaned closer. What is their request? The human officer continued. Do not intervene. The next attack will be directed at us. We will handle it. Varric's eyes widened. That is madness. The Xeran will come with full force. The human officer seemed to sense his fear. We understand. But humans fight best when protecting their home. This is our burden, not the galaxy's. Then the transmission ended. Counselor Relia exhaled slowly. They do not want help, and they will not ask for it. Varric sat back in his chair. Why are they doing this? Why fight alone? Relia looked at the Earth with deep sadness. Because humans know the truth. If other species join the fight, the war will spread. Entire worlds could burn. The humans want to keep the conflict contained, even if it costs them. Varric shivered. Humans were dangerous because they were strong. But they were terrifying because they cared. Their compassion was deeper than their weapons. Hours passed. Then days. The galaxy watched, holding its breath. Every observer ship, every trade fleet, every hidden spy, all monitored Earth. They knew the Xeran Dominion would return. But nobody knew how soon. Varric remained on the Council ship, studying human behavior. He saw strange things. Human scientists working day and night. Earth defense grid strengthening. Civilian networks staying calm. No riots, no fear, no chaos. Humans prepared for war with discipline and silence. Varric whispered. They are scared, but they do not show it. Counselor Relia answered softly. That is the human way. They fear, but they keep moving. This makes them strong. Suddenly, alarms flashed across the council bridge. Multiple warp signatures detected. Massive numbers. Xeran Dominion force inbound. Varric felt his blood turn to ice. Counselor Relia's voice rose. How many ships? An officer replied in panic. Too many to count. Thousands. More than we have ever seen. Varric gasped. They brought their entire war machine. The holomap flickered. Red dots filled the screen, an endless ocean of Xeran ships. Battleships. Carriers. Siege platforms. Weapons made only for destruction. It was not an attack. It was extermination. The Xeran wanted to erase humans from the galaxy. Varric whispered shakily. They are afraid. So afraid of humans that they want to destroy them completely. Relia nodded grimly. Yes. Fear makes tyrants act without logic. Earth transmissions activated instantly. The human officer's face returned on screen. Her voice was calm. Too calm. To the council. Do not interfere. This is our fight. Varric cried out. You cannot face this many ships. You will be destroyed. But the human officer simply blinked. We will not fall. Humanity has survived worse. Varric shook his head violently. What could be worse than this? The officer's expression changed, sad but proud. Our own history. The screen went dark. The resolve powered up again. The blue light from its core shined brighter than before. Smaller human ships rose from Earth's surface, hundreds of them, forming protective layers. Varric whispered in shock. They didn't launch their whole fleet last time? Counselor Relia stared hard. They were holding back. Xeran ships entered Earth's orbit, surrounding the planet from all directions. Their commander appeared on the council's side screen. His eyes were full of fury. This time humans die. Varric stepped back instinctively. But something unexpected happened. A second human warship rose from behind the moon. Then a third. Then a fourth. Massive. Dark. Silent. The human megafleet had arrived. The Xeran commander froze. What is this? A human commander's voice answered. You came to end us, but we will not let you. The 4 megaships moved into formation, triangular, defensive, unbreakable. Earth glowed beneath them like a shield. Then the human commander spoke again, voice steady as stone. Xeran Dominion. We refused war once. We refused it twice. But now, the lights of all 4 megaships turned deep blue. We will show you why humanity survives every age of darkness. The transmission ended. War was seconds away. The galaxy watched. Varric held his breath. Humans refused war. But they were about to teach the galaxy why they should never be forced into one. The galaxy had never seen a sky like this. On one side, thousands of Xeran warships, glowing red with hatred and fear. On the other, 4 massive human megaships rising from the shadow of the moon, their blue lights pulsing like the heartbeat of a giant. And floating above them all, calm and steady, stood the HSS Resolve. Varric's hands shook as he watched the 2 forces face each other. Even the council ship he stood on began to drift back, keeping distance from what was about to happen. Counselor Relia whispered. It begins. A voice boomed across every channel. Xeran Commander. Humans, you had your chance. You refused to bow. Now you will be erased. Human Commander. We bow to no conqueror. You brought war. We will end it. The Xeran Armada moved first. Every ship. Every weapon. Every beam. A wall of red energy rushed toward Earth like a burning tidal wave. Varric closed his eyes. No one could survive that. But something happened. The human megaships suddenly changed formation. Their blue energy lines stretched across space, connecting ship to ship, forming a shining triangular shield above Earth. The Xeran fire hit the shield. And vanished. No explosion. No damage. Like water hitting a stone. The galaxy gasped. Varric stared in disbelief. They stopped the attack completely. Counselor Relia whispered. That shield, it bends energy into another dimension. Humans shouldn't have this technology. But they did. And they used it perfectly. The Xeran commander roared in rage. Fire everything. Thousands of red beams shot again, thicker, stronger, louder. Missiles. Plasma. Ion cannons. Siege blasts. The space around Earth turned red. The shield glowed brighter. And again. Nothing broke through. Varric grabbed the edge of the console, shaking. They built these ships, to protect, not destroy. Counselor Relia nodded. This is why they scare the Xeran. Humans don't build weapons for conquest. They build weapons for moments like this. when they must defend what they love. Then the human commander gave the order. Her calm voice echoed across the stars. Now, push them back. The 4 megaships moved like giants waking from sleep. They activated their secondary cannons, long blue beams fired out in clean, perfect lines. Each beam cut through dozens of Xeran ships instantly. One moment the ships were there. The next moment, nothing but empty space. Varric's heart raced. This is impossible. But the battle was only beginning. The Xeran Dominion brought numbers. Humans brought precision. Xeran ships swarmed forward like a red storm. Human ships danced between them like shadows and light. The Resolve dodged fire with speed a ship its size should not have. It moved left and right, up and down, slipping through enemy lines and firing sharp blue pulses. Every pulse hit a target. Never wasted. Never random. Xeran Commander. You cowardly creatures. Stand still and fight. Human Commander. If you want us to stand still, then aim better. Varric almost laughed from the shock. Even in war, humans mocked their enemies. But fear returned immediately. Because the Xeran armada did not stop. More warp portals opened. More ships arrived, dreadnoughts the size of mountains. The space around Earth turned red again as reinforcements poured in. Varric whispered, "There are too many, humans cannot keep this up." But Counselor Relia watched quietly. "Wait. Look at the human megaships." Varric looked, and he froze. The blue lights on the megaships were brightening, growing stronger. Powerful waves of energy pulsed through the hulls. The human commander spoke once more. "We warned you. 3 times. This is your final lesson." The megaships changed formation again, this time forming a straight line behind the Resolve. Varric felt his whole body tremble. What are they doing? This formation is not defensive. Counselor Relia's eyes widened. No. This is an attack formation. The human commander's voice became firm. "All ships. Activate Unity Protocol." Varric had never heard of such a thing. Unity Protocol? The megaships connected their cores. Light flowed between them like rivers of blue fire. The Resolve moved in front, absorbing the energy. The Xeran commander screamed. "What are you doing? Stop." But it was too late. The Resolve's weapon core opened. The blue star inside burned brighter than the sun. Varric felt his chest tighten. He whispered, "They aren't firing a weapon." Counselor Relia finished softly. "They're firing the unity of an entire species." The beam shot forward. Silent. White-blue. Beautiful. It stretched across space like a cut in reality itself. The Xeran front lines disappeared instantly. Their dreadnoughts cracked in half like glass. Their smaller ships vanished in a burst of light. Their carriers split apart in perfect lines. An entire section of the Xeran armada erased. In one strike. The whole galaxy watching this battle felt the same thing. Fear. Respect. Silence. The Xeran commander's voice returned, but it was shaking. "We surrender." "Stop. We surrender." The human commander didn't cheer. Didn't celebrate. She simply said, "Leave our system. Do not return." The Xeran fleet fled. The war was over in minutes. Varric exhaled shakily. Humans refused war. Humans hated war. But when forced, they became unstoppable. The council ship was silent. No one knew what to say. Then Counselor Relia whispered, "We must pray the humans never face something worse. Because if they do, the galaxy will witness power beyond imagination." Varric nodded slowly. This was only their beginning. The battle was over, but the galaxy was not quiet. Every world, every species, every king and council was now talking about humans. Some spoke with fear. Some spoke with hope. Some spoke with confusion. But everyone agreed on one thing. Humans were not like any other warriors. They only fought when they had no choice. And when they fought, they became unstoppable. For many alien races this idea was terrifying. For others it was comforting. And now, as reports of the battle spread across star systems, the leaders of many civilizations turned toward the same question. Will the humans fight again? A new threat rises. On the human warship, Silver Dawn, Admiral Rian stood in the command room. He looked tired, older, and strangely sad. He hated war. Every human felt the same way. But after the battle, a new signal had arrived. A repeating message coming from the dark edge of the galaxy. A warning. A scream. A request for help. Nova listened to the message again, her hands shaking slightly. "It's from the Vorex zone," she said. "Nothing ever lives there. Everyone avoids it. It is a dead region, Kaylee's added. No life. No stars. Only shadows. General Delos stepped forward. That message is not shadows. Someone is alive there. And they are asking for humans. Rian looked at the screen again. The message was short, broken, but clear. How? Humans, only you can stop them. Nova whispered, if someone is sending this from that place, they must be desperate. The crew waited. No one wanted another war. But they also could not ignore a cry for help. The Council of Worlds decides. In the Galactic Hall, the leaders of 28 species argued loudly. Humans will destroy us if they fight again, one shouted. They saved us, another argued. They do not want war. They are too strong. They will bring more enemies. A deep voice finally rose above all others. It was Elder Varen, the oldest leader in the hall. We fear humans because we do not understand them, he said. But we must remember, they never asked to be masters of war. We forced them. Our enemies forced them. War forced them. He paused. When humans fight, it is to protect. Not to conquer. Not to rule. But because someone needs help. Silence filled the room. Then Varen added softly. If the message from the Vorax zone is real, then we need the humans again. The hall trembled with nervous agreement. The choice of humanity. Back on the ship, Admiral Rian addressed his team. We stand at a crossroads, he said. The galaxy looks at us with fear and respect. But this is not about power. This is about who we are. Nova nodded. We saved them once. But if someone in that dead zone is calling for us, it means something terrible is coming. Delos clenched his fists. The last battle was nothing compared to what may be out there. Kaylee's added softly, humans fought only when needed. And now, the galaxy needs them again. Everyone waited for Rian's final decision. He closed his eyes for a moment. He remembered Earth. He remembered peace. He remembered what humans wanted more than anything. A simple life. A quiet life. A safe life. Finally he opened his eyes. We will answer the call, he said. But we will not start a war. We will not become monsters. We will not become rulers. His voice grew stronger. We will be what we have always been, protectors. Defenders. The warriors who fight only when there is no other way. The entire room felt his resolve. Humans would go. But not because they wanted war. Because someone needed them. The journey into darkness. The engines of the Silver Dawn roared as the ship turned toward the Vorax zone. A region of complete darkness, a place not even light escaped. Nova stared at the map. There are no stars there. No planets. Nothing. Delos replied, something lives there. Something strong enough to scare them into contacting us. Kaylee shivered. Then we must be ready. Admiral Rian stepped forward. Whatever we face, remember this. Humans do not fight for glory. Humans do not fight for power. Humans fight for life. He looked at the expanding darkness on the screen. And life is calling us. The final twist, ending hook. As the ship entered the edge of the Vorax zone, the lights flickered. Every sensor froze. Every screen turned black. A whisper came through the speakers, soft, cold, and ancient. Welcome, humans. We have been waiting for you. Nova stepped back. Her blood turned cold. That voice, it doesn't sound like someone asking for help, she whispered. Rian stared into the black void ahead. No, he said softly. It sounds like someone who already knows us. The ship continued forward. And the darkness swallowed them whole.